Hi, welcome back to Eat the Fucking Food. This week I have on midlife transformation coach Jen Rulon, and it is a doozy of a podcast episode. We talk about how Jen went through the Weight Watchers 80s. She was born in 1971, just like yours truly, and how she had to overcome her fear of actually eating food and get past the mentality of why a woman would think she needs to earn the right to eat to become a 13-time Ironman triathlete and a current life coach that helps women step into their full strength. She teaches them to be stronger, to be louder, and to learn how to fully express themselves through movement, metabolism, mindset, and meeting. This is an episode you want to stick around for. So now let's go meet Jen. Jen Rulon, welcome to Eat the Fucking Food. I am so happy to meet you and to chat with you today.
Thanks for having me, Kristin. I appreciate it. I love the title. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, for those of you who don't know Jen, she is a midlife transformation coach. But you have this great story that I absolutely love. Like, I joked when we started talking about getting you on the podcast that you had me at Ironman. I don't think I would ever do it, but I have watched, on TV, the races.
Yep.
I think it's amazing. But that's not where you started, right? Tell me your story. How did you get
Sure.
here?
Growing up in the 80s, right? I was born in 71. I'm 54 years old. I grew up in the Weight Watchers era. I also grew up in the low fat or the no fat food, right? So here I was, I guess I had been 13, 14, 15, like around that age. And I remember my mom was on Weight Watchers. My aunts were on Weight Watchers. My grandma was always on a diet. And I remember saying to my mom, I'm like, okay, well, if you're on Weight Watchers, I need to go on Weight Watchers with you. So she would prepare the food just like how she would eat, right? And here I was, 14, 15 years old, freshman, sophomore in high school. And I was active. I, played volleyball. I was a cheerleader. I played softball. I was a sophomore on varsity. Like I was that girl that was like pretty good. I never considered myself an athlete in high school, which is sort of ironic. And I hated running. That's the funny thing about all of this for actually doing an Ironman. But yeah, like I grew up thinking that I had to be on a diet because my grandma, my aunts, and my mom were all on a diet. And they just like they ate like a bird all the time. And I didn't understand that. So then here I was, feeling guilty if I wanted a burger after a softball game or a burger and fries or whatever. I remember one time I had like 3 burgers and my mom's like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm hungry. I just played softball. Like I need food." And it was just a weird I remember there were so many like memories. I still remember I tell this story all the time, especially in this realm. I mean, my grandma, she had a picture of herself in this. I mean, she had this, back in I had to been what, 40s, 50s, maybe 50s. We had this, it was a black and white photo. She had this swimsuit on, full piece, like no top or no straps. And she was sitting there and she had this like little, like this tilt about her, like this high. And then, I mean, she looked amazing, right? But on it was diet determination. She had that photo up on her fridge the whole time that she was alive.
Oh
Yeah.
man, like the things we do to ourselves in the
Yep.
name, and I want to go back because you said, grandma, mom,
Grandma.
we learn these behaviors. And like
Yep.
we also have to give our mothers and our grandmothers some grace because it was also
For sure.
forced and taught on them.
Absolutely.
You didn't know better. I know my mom tells a story about how when she was pregnant with me, her obstetrician like would berate her for gaining any weight. And I don't think she gained that much. And we're to the point she wouldn't eat before going to the appointments because she would get weighed. And I'm
Mm,
like, oh my goodness. And at a time, especially you're growing another human being, we need to
right.
eat more food. but this onus on weight and like how little I was with you. I was I was a runner. I was a runner. I did cross country and track. And I think back on the amount I was running at that time in a
Oh,
time when I'm going through a huge growth spurt. Like my growth spurt hit junior year of high school where I shot up, height wise. And I look back at pictures and it's not a good look. A teacher pulled me aside once and asked me if I was okay because that's how thin I was. I didn't think I was that thin,
wow.
but I was eating like for breakfast, I'd have a bowl of cereal or like pancakes, maybe some eggs. And I wasn't trying to diet, but the amount of activity I was doing, I was nowhere eating. Now in 30
Yeah,
years
now
in the
looking back,
future,
right?
now that and nobody was talking about nutrition when we were in high school. So it's a
Correct.
wonder that we have to unlearn all this stuff. You
Yeah.
said something interesting to me before that you felt you had to earn your food. Can
Yes.
you talk
Yeah,
about that a little bit?
I was about that too. Yeah. Yeah, I think when I would go like to like Christmas dinners on my dad's side of the family, my mom's side not so much, but more my dad's side of my family, like I would sit there and I would eat and I would eat food. And my dad would be like, "Wow, you're eating a lot, Jen." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I mean, I'm 16, 17 years old. I need this." And then I would see my grandma Fritching was eating like a bird. So I would hear that like, "Oh, wow, you're eating a lot. Oh, wow, you're eating a lot." And then I would see like maybe my aunts and my grandmas like not eating a lot. And so as I went into probably college years is when I was like, "Oh man, well, like I don't know if I should eat this burger because I didn't work out today or I didn't do something today." Or I didn't like, I shouldn't be eating this burger. I shouldn't be eating these fries. And so in 1989, I tell this story all the time. I was watching the ABC Wide World of Sports on television, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Like if you know, And it was the Ironman World Championship, and I was 17 years old at the time. If you don't know what an Ironman is, it's a 2.4-mile swim, 112-mile bike, and a 26.2 marathon run. And I saw that for the first time, and I saw the two guys cross the finish line, and then an hour later, I saw the first female cross, and I thought, well, if she could do it, I can do it. And so then as I was getting into running more, doing some triathlons, I was doing like sprint triathlons when I was in college. Because the thing with me, I was in Whitewater, Wisconsin, so my town is so tiny. So I biked everywhere. I taught swimming lessons. I was a lifeguard. And then I was like, well, shoot, I guess I could start running. But after I started exercising more and started like working out a little bit more consistent, like teaching aerobics, biking, swimming, and then eventually running, I was like, oh, this is great because now I'm doing all this activity. Now I can have a burger. Now I can have those fries. And so like, as my Ironman training progressed over the years, because like, I mean, I did my first sprint triathlon when I was 20, but then I did my first Ironman when I was 30. It was a little long. I mean, I did a couple sprints and over time, it takes a while, right?
Oh, but you have
But
to train for that. You can't just go out and
no,
you can't even just go out and do a sprint triathlon. Or I do not recommend
true.
just going out and
No,
doing a
please
sprint
don't. Yeah.
triathlon. Please
Yeah.
don't.
But
Yeah.
it was crazy because I would get off the bike after 6 hours and I'd be like, oh my God, yes, now I can have a burger. Now I could go to Five Guys and not get the lettuce wrap burger. I can actually get the dang bun.
So you were still in the mentality of I have to earn my food. When did it switch for you?
Absolutely. Good question. I think the biggest switch was when it was probably, so I did 4 Ironmans, took an 8-year sabbatical, and I found CrossFit, drank the Kool-Aid, did paleo, did all of that stuff,
Oh,
did,
we all
you
did.
know,
Yeah.
we all did, right? Freaking love, but I loved what CrossFit taught me because I think, and then even going back, I went back and got my master's when I was 40 in kinesiology. I really think learning the science behind food is when it clicked.
Yeah.
And I was 40 years old.
Well, you got 7 years on me because I was 47 when I started digging into, and it was like joining a program because my body was changing with perimenopause and I was active and thought I was eating healthy, but I was in this still restrictive mentality, even really not realizing I was being restrictive. I thought I was being healthy because that's what these quote unquote experts were telling me. And it wasn't until I kind of got hooked on how much better I felt when I ate more food in the right combinations and had a balanced plate that I went and dug deeper and got certified through a strong nutrition company that the science of it went, why don't we know this? Why are we hiding this? And I feel like we are. We're still not, everyone should be yelling this, from the rooftops. So good for you that you hit it at 40, because I'm still like learning,
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because about a month and a half ago, if you go to my Instagram, Coach Jen Rulon, I have a picture of me holding this beautiful pink donut. And I was like, do y'all know that this donut is good for you? And like it just like shocks everybody, like, what? And I think that was like my aha moment at my master's degree. Like it was like, is this donut good for you or is it bad for you? After an Ironman, so I'm out there on the race course, 11 hours. I had like I think my last four Ironmans, I went to like one of those fancy donut places and I bought 7 donuts. I had one donut a day for
yeah.
7 days.
Well, and here's like, we
It was
have to keep
amazing.
talking about like food is not good, or there's no
Correct.
morality to food,
Yes,
right? And it's
exactly.
energy. And the light bulb moment that came for me was, and you knew it, but you didn't know it. Where in the line in my textbook, as I'm learning, was a calorie is a unit of energy. And I went, oh, yeah, I knew that. The less calories you eat consistently over time, the less energy you're going to have. And you need energy. Like you're talking about energy to do this huge race, this, half day of not stop moving that's incredibly, physically demanding. But we women, I mean, a midlife woman is a busy woman. Our demands are high, our workload's high. We need energy too. And I love that you used a donut, because talk about a food that's going to grab someone's attention.
Exactly. I mean, if I held up and I remember thinking about this, it's like, is broccoli good or is broccoli bad for you? Well, it depends on the context, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're trying to lose weight, maybe having some broccoli is good for you to like for the fiber aspects and to,
Hmm.
help you that way. But I just got done with an Ironman. I'm going to eat a donut and I'm going to love every minute of it.
You need, yeah,
Or guess what? I'm doing a refeed today. I'm going to go get myself a donut. And
right.
there's nothing wrong with that. And I like that donut that I had that day. I was like, it was like the best thing ever. And I just like savored it. Where
Hmm.
before I would have been like, oh my God, I shouldn't be eating this donut. That's not good for me. What am I doing? Like I had to snap out of it. Yeah.
Right. And just even, I love that you said that you savored it and it was so good. Food brings us joy. You
Does.
know what I mean? And that's the one thing I know I talk a lot about with my clients. I'm like, if there's a food, say it's a donut, that you love, we can make that work in a quote unquote
Absolutely.
healthy diet. You can probably have a donut a day if we make the rest of your stuff work. Like we have to
Yep.
get past like this good,
Yep.
bad. And like, hey, and broccoli is wonderful, like you said, but too much broccoli is going to stop you up. Like you're going to have some issues too.
Right.
Like everything in the right amounts. Like I love that you're like something had a switch in your brain, which
Yeah.
has to happen for so many of
Yeah.
us.
And it's interesting because I remember I was getting ready for a half Ironman in Texas and I ended up rolling my ankle and I just couldn't do it. So somebody asked me, they're like, can you at least be on a team with us and we do like a swim, bike, and
Oh,
run? I'm like, oh, yeah, I could easily do the swim. I'm just not going to be running out of the ocean as quick as, and they're like, oh my God, no, we just need a swimmer. So I did that. And
we
like,
just
and
don't
like,
want to swim. Yeah.
we just don't want to swim, right? And so
Yeah.
the day before, I ended up getting no, 2 days before, because you always want to go 2 days. And I knew I wasn't swimming much, but I was like, you know what? I'm getting pizza. Like, I want pizza. I need the carbohydrates to
Mm-hmm.
fuel my body to get the swim in. And so I had a half a pizza, took the other
Mm-hmm.
half home. And I had a picture of me, with the pizza. I got shamed by another female coach, nutrition coach, being like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're eating that." I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." And that, like, okay, I'm done with this diet, like
Mm-hmm.
you don't shame women when it comes to food. Not at all.
No,
Not cool.
no. Right. And especially like you know your body. That's another thing I talk about with like the women who come and work with me. We have to find what works best for you, not what works best for me, not which works best for Ironman athlete Jen. Like we got to find your life. And if pizza works, then we're gonna make it work. If like and everyone else can go whatever.
Piss off.
Piss off. Thank you. I'm like, I had a lot of phrases and I'm like,
Of
let's
course,
try
you're
to
like,
let's try to
"Well,
trying to behave. I'm trying to behave a little bit
that's
more.
okay."
It's not working because the filter is gone. The filter is gone. Probably a good
But
thing.
that's the beauty about our age. The filter's
Yes,
gone. We know who we are. We know what we want, and we're going to speak our truth.
I
Nothing
love it.
wrong with that.
I love that you just said that because the next thing I want to talk to you about, you're a midlife transformation coach. And I love that one of the things you say is you help women stop shrinking and express themselves fully in midlife.
I
What
do.
is the most common challenge you see for midlife women to finally step into their full power?
Great question. Trusting themselves and using their voice. I have a client. I got her strong. Like she's been with me for 6 months now. Going, no, a little over 6 months. And I got her strong physically. I mean, I got her in the gym 4 to 5 days a week. She was running 3 times a week. Nutrition wise, she was really good. Like and she started like leaning up and getting strong. So all of a sudden the body's getting strong. And all of a sudden, like, all right, it's time to work on that mind. And I could see her struggling with wanting to really use her voice and speak her truth. But once she started developing that confidence in the gym, it started like masking over into her job, into her relationship. And that's the one challenge that I have with her is really making sure, like, trust yourself. There's something that that you want to address, and you got to stop shrinking yourself about how you're feeling. You have to share it, because if you don't share it, you're going to stay in that cycle for the rest of your life.
And has she started sharing more? Like, has she stepped into
She
that?
has. She
Oh,
has. And it's
and that's,
beautiful. But I had to also
yeah.
dig deep to figure out, like, why was she not using her voice? Why was she shrinking? Like I'm like, you don't deserve this in your life. Like, how
Right.
can you speak your truth? And she's like, I don't trust myself because of past experiences, like past, like, it's going, and even it could be going to the childhood aspects, right?
Oh, I'm sure. I've been thinking, I mean, think how many, especially women our age, we were taught, why don't you smile? I mean, how many times have you heard maybe you should smile?
Yeah,
Maybe you should be like at times when you complained or not even like complaining, but said like, I don't like this. And we're
yeah,
told, well, like deal with it or
yeah,
that's okay. The times we were told to be smaller, not only
absolutely.
physically, because we've already talked about the diet aspect of it,
Right,
but
right.
also emotionally. To just quiet that stuff. And it's really hard because outside of being a nutrition coach, I'm also an actor here in
Oh my
Chicago.
God, are
And
you really?
once I started acting and getting into classes and like in a scene, being able to like yell or be
Mhm.
angry and
Yeah,
not be being told, whoa, calm down, and I'm like, these feelings are acceptable. I am
yeah,
now actually getting praised for the things I was told, whoa, stop. all these
Yeah,
years. It helped me then speak up more. Now, sometimes still in my personal life, speaking up, I could feel all the stress,
right,
come
right.
out with it.
No, and I told her, I said to her, I said, I want you to do something. I want you to rent Little Mermaid. And I want you to see how Ariel lost her voice because she wanted to be a human. And look at how she lives her life. I mean, it's like the princess, right? But like she lost her voice because she wanted to be a human. We have a voice because we are human. I said, now you have to figure out how to tap into using your voice. Don't give your voice away to Ursula because Ursula's going to take it and, and trash it.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
will. Or even just, I love, you got to be who you are. Yes, we can always work on growing and changing, but when we try to make ourselves intrinsically into something we are not, that's where the trouble comes from. It's when we're battling against the scale to try to get a number that maybe was when we were like 16 years old, or not even fully adult, or in our 20s, or a different time. It's not who we are now. Like, honoring the self is everything you've been talking about, getting strong physically, fueling your body. So when women come to you as a midlife transformation coach, what's your main route? I guess the main route for them to follow. What are most people looking for?
I have four pillars, and this is how I live my life. So it's all about movement, mindset, metabolism, and meaning. So, movement, we're talking about strength training, walking 10,000 steps. If you want to run, go for it. If you want to dance, Zumba, ride your bike, swim, surf, like, move. You got to move. Then we talk about metabolism, and metabolism is not just nutrition alone. I'm talking about resetting your nervous system, like getting that rest, getting that sleep. I use my Aura Ring, and my Aura Ring this is not an ad, but like I love it. I love what it teaches me, and it shows me like, okay, you've been sitting too much, and it's true. Like sometimes I sit too much. I'm behind a computer. I work from online. I've done this for years. So like the metabolism piece, not only about food, but resetting the nervous system, looking at your cortisol, like looking at supplements, all that stuff. And then we talk about mindset. So then we start talking about really the deep, like what is important to you? Like what is, and I guess that's a sort of a mix of mindset and meaning. So I tend to look at Tony Robbins, and he does a lot of stuff called the 6 human needs. So if you want to look that up, that's a really good, like he's got a quiz out there, but it's something that I start looking at with my clients, like what are we focusing on? What's our goal later on in this midlife because our goals what we had in our 20s and 30s are so different in our 50s and up. And so we have to really figure out like, okay, I'm making a shift. I don't need a finish line anymore. Like I've done that. I've done 15 Ironmans. I don't need to do that. So if I try to chase finish lines, that means I'm 6 feet down in the ground, you know?
Right. I want to keep going
I
until
want to keep
whenever the
going.
finish line finds me. You know what I
Right,
mean? Whatever that be. I don't
right.
want to be thinking about it. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So now, like, and now I try to tap into like, okay, like, what are your goals? Like, do you have kids? Do you have grandbabies? I always think about my mom too. Like, I'm like, Mom, my niece is 17. She's graduating high school. Like, you're almost 80. Like, I need you to get in the gym. I need you to start strength training. I need you to start walking again. Like, I want you to walk. I want you to be there for Taryn's college graduation. I want you to be there for her wedding or what, you know what I mean? Like, I think about that. Like, I'm just like, because that's the goal. Those are the goals as we age.
Right. When you talk to most women, it's to be there with their family, to be able to move independently, whatever it might be, travel. And I love that you're like Zumba, go dance, go surf, whatever. There's no judgment on the movement. Yes, strength training. I'm a big proponent of strength training and think every woman should be strength training, but it doesn't have to be, 7 days in the gym. It doesn't have to like take over your life. Like, just don't stop moving. There's truth with an object at rest stays at rest. And I love though you also said, because then you're like, and then on the other side, we need rest. It's okay to also take your foot off the pedal a little bit when your body's telling you that you need that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think one of my favorite things living in Costa Rica is I get to reset my body every day in that hammock with my
Yeah.
cup of coffee at sunset. And
Oh,
it is like it is my sanctuary. It is what I need. When I go to the States to visit family, which 'cause my mom's in Florida, my brother's in Michigan, it's great, but they are constantly on the move. And I'm like, where's my hammock? I need my hammock, you know? And they're
so
like, and
smart.
I think some people, well, even our generation thinks that if we rest, we're lazy.
Oh, that's one of my biggest struggles. I was talking with someone the other day that I take rest like breaks, but like
Sure.
trying to dedicate Sundays. Sundays are a no work day. And
With
where I can read, maybe like I'll go for a walk. I'm not
Yep.
like this, but I struggle on Sundays. Like I
Mm.
sat down to read a book and my body was, I'm like, well, this just shows how much you need to take probably
Absolutely.
more rest, that my body's fighting against, that I'm not being productive enough, that I'm
Yep.
not helping my business grow. Like I should be
Yeah.
doing. Mm. Talk about
I
that's probably
know.
a whole nother podcast
That's a
on your
whole other
mindset. It's a whole nother
podcast.
podcast of why we need to unpack all that stuff.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
all right, Jen. So if people want to find you out in the world, you have a lot going on. Tell us what
I know.
you have, where to find you, and what you're offering.
Yeah. So social media, I'm Coach Jen Rulon, JenRulon. So you could find me on Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram, TikTok. I do TikTok lives Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So like people will jump in and ask questions and all that stuff. So I'm there quite a bit. And then you could go to jenrulon.com. I have, I have my website where you could find about my one-on-one coaching. You could look up about my books, just other podcasts I've been on and other platforms I've been on for like being experts in different mediums, right? And then I just started Substack. That's been fun, like, because I really enjoy like just writing. I really enjoy writing. So you could go there. You could also, email me, jen@jenrulon.com. But I would say the best two platforms are Instagram and TikTok.
Excellent. And then the question I ask every guest at the end, because it is a nutrition or a podcast about food and eating
Yes.
food. What's your favorite thing to eat?
I do love me a good burger. Oh my
Oh,
God. The burger and the bun, and then sweet potato fries.
love it. Love
Yeah.
it.
And
Jen,
and I
thank
don't
you. Okay.
And I
Well,
was gonna
go
say I
ahead.
don't drink alcohol anymore, but I used to love a big glass of Stella beer with that
Ice
burger and the
cold.
fries.
Right.
Ice cold.
I
Yep.
I hear you. Well, thank
Yep.
you so much for spending
Thank
this time with
you.
us. You are wonderful. You left me with a lot to think about, especially about getting that rest in. And
Yep.
I just so appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to share this.